Hello everybody, your girl Marina back for another video, and this video is going to be a review of a book that I've read recently. I read in November. It's a collection of short stories entitled Taxi Drivers Who Drive Us Nowhere and Other Stories. This one here has been published by Bakwa, which is a non-profit magazine of Cameroonian descent. Should I say it that way? It is a collection of short stories from various African writers, because you do have people from Cameroon, of course, Nigeria, Namibia, Bissau Guinea, and more. It is made of 9 stories. 6 of them are in English, 3 are in French. I gave this collection 4 stars out of 5. Because it is worth the read. If you know me, you know that I'm not very keen on short stories because I always have things to say about it. I always feel like either the story doesn't get time to be really developed, or the setting doesn't, you know, there's always something. I always feel like there is something missing when I'm reading short stories. So that's why I barely read them. Okay, but this one I highly recommend. Why? Not all of them are equally good, but all of them are worth reading. And the particularity of these short stories is that they are all non-fiction stories, and they all deal with the troubles that we have as African citizens to travel the globe, to travel the world. I gotta be honest with you. When I started reading it, the first short story, which gave the title to the collection, sorry, didn't really blow my mind. And when I was done reading it, I was like, oh, should I continue or should I stop? Not because the story wasn't good, but simply because the language was problematic to me. I felt like it was written in French and then translated in English, or trying to make it sound English, and it wasn't as fluid as I wish it was. I picked up one example to let you know what bothers me. It may not bother you, but I'll let you know. There's a place in the short story where it says in English, he imagines us his children. To me, it wasn't even natural. But when I was putting it in French, like, oh, je m'imagine qu'il s'imagine que nous sommes des enfants, it sounded real. It sounded, okay, like, yeah, beautiful. But then in English, there are many things that he says there that sounds too French to me, and I was like, why didn't he write in French? But I don't even know if the writer can write in French. So that was my first problem while trying to get into this collection. And then came the second short story, slap in my face, and that is A Family History in a Passport. I think, let me read. Yeah, A Family History in a Passport by Yovunka Paqueto Perdigao. She's from Guinea-Bissau, or Bissau Guinea. I gave that short story 5 out of 5. I'm going to tell you everything that I was dreading, everything that I hate about short stories. She avoided all that, because that short story deals with a quest for identity, where to belong, who you are according to your parents and according to the society, because she is supposed to be something else to her friends who do not allow her to be that because of the color of her skin. So it deals with colorism as well. It deals with post-colonial Africa. It deals with the troubles that we do have going back to the country we were raised into, because of the let's say economical situation they are going through, or it deals with the war-torn country and the desire for the parents to protect their children, but by doing so they take her away from what is their culture, what are their real roots. She also addresses the privilege that she had because of or thanks to the kind of passport that she was holding, and she didn't even realize that she was a privileged one until she became an adult, and that something arose inside her own family, and that you know, that made her realize that she was privileged compared to the others. Okay, I loved that short story. The character development was there. The setting was clear. The subject was dealt with. It wasn't just that she wasn't just picking up themes to say, okay, I dealt with this, checked. No, every time she picked up a scene or a theme, she goes deep down in there, and she does so in only 5 pages, 5 or 6 pages. So I was like, gosh, here she has material for a novel. Maybe she should write a novel based on everything she just said in these short stories. A family history into a passport, and I loved it. I loved it, and I think that was the main reason why I kept reading. After reading this one, I was like, okay, I will certainly encounter many other wonderful stories, which was the case. But I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'm going to talk about the first short story in French, which is Vers le passeport, à mer les aéroports, and this one is by Anne-Marie Beffoun. After reading our short stories, of course, each and every person who wrote in there, after reading their short stories, I went on Google and looked for information. This lady have a blog entitled Digressions. It is in French, right? Digression. And for somebody who always digressed when she is writing on a blog, she did a formidable work of like economy on words. Her her story is very short, but it is also, according to me, the saddest one in this collection. This is why I wanted to do this part in French, because I have many things to say, but I'd rather say the things in French. My English is failing me right now. But, you know, c'est pessimist. I felt like it was pessimistic, as if she you know, she kind of gave up all the hope of becoming a real citizen of Cameroon, as if there were no pride into being Cameroonian. I can understand that, because me myself, I do hold a green passport. This is not a Nigerian one, by the way. It's a Congolese one. It looks like this. It's a green passport. So the curse on green passports is real. The curse is real. But then again, being Congolese is my pride, and I know that not every Congolese people are worth celebrating, and there are many things in my country that I myself am ashamed of. You know, I will not come in front of people and praise my country for doing this and that. But nevertheless, when I hold this passport, I feel good. I feel good. Yes, I know it's not the best one to be having in the world. When I want to travel certain places, it's better to have a French passport or a I don't know, English passport or American passport, because an American person can wake up in the morning and just decide that they want to visit the world. They go anywhere they want to. But if you're Congolese, if you're Cameroonian, if you're Nigerian, if you want to travel the world, dear, if you want to make it somewhere in January, you have to start searching for your ways and booking, you know, appointment to the embassies like 6 months prior to your due date of travel, because you will have interviews to go through, you will have a bunch of paper to bring to the embassy, so many things that will at the end of the day discourage you and push you toward another way of visiting the world, which is illegal. That is if you want to go outside Africa. But guess what? Even inside Africa, it is troublesome. And there's a story that I wish was longer by this woman from Namibia. I think it's Losing My Passport to Get Home by, let me get rid of this, Munukayumbwa Mimi Muia. She's from Namibia. Her story was interesting, but I was a bit disappointed because I felt like she rushed it and she repeated something about the Nigerian. The joke was funny the first time, then the second time I was like, okay, we heard that already. Why didn't you, you know, bring us something more? And I do know, according to what I've just read, that she had many things to tell. She had many other things that she could have shared with us, but she didn't dig deep in the subject. But her story was interesting. Too bad that it was rushed. Too bad that it was too short. Even if it's a short story, it's way too short. I did love another one by a Cameroonian, I think it is, because his name is Nkiasha Atamkeng, and this is the kind of name that you do not invent. This is Cameroonian. I'm sure he is from Cameroon. Impossible n'est pas camerounais. And this one is not, though the title is in French, the story is in English. I loved it. I loved it because as weird as it may sound, I don't know much about Cameroon. I don't know much about the Central African countries. I've never really been interested by the countries I'm surrounded by. As weird as it may sound, the only country I'm interested in is Kenya. I don't know about Cameroon. I don't know about République Centrafricaine or maybe a bit about Gabon. But I loved Impossible n'est pas camerounais because it tells the story. It tells the story of his country, but with different layers. He's supposed to talk about Khmer Airline, you know, the story behind it, the creation of the national air flight, and who created it and why it failed. I was surprised to learn about Ijo. What is his name? Yes, I know. Some people will say, oh, you don't know, but he's a politician. He used to be a president. Lord, I always felt like I was born with Biya being president and I might die with him still being president, you know? So I didn't know about this guy who created the company and why he created the company and why it was so successful, because he was willing to make it work. And how it kind of failed because those who came after him didn't have the same ambition and they don't care about Cameroonian people. They're too busy living their life in Switzerland. I'm just saying, you need to read. I didn't say it. I'm reading it, and it is written by a citizen of the country, so I'm not going to contradict him. He knows his country better than I could ever do. So yeah, this one was very interesting because of that. And I love the fact that while he was talking about the downfall of the company, he was also talking about the indomitable lions, which sounds foreign to me because I'm used to hearing les lions indomptables, and to me that's how they are supposed to be named all the time, les lions indomptables du Cameroun. And the parallel between those two enterprises going down was very well done. And all the information that he brought about his country were very, very enriching and very interesting. So yeah, that short story too deserved a high note. But I didn't give it 5 though. I gave it 4.5. This one was very good and I recommend it. Impossible n'est pas camerounais. Yeah, so you guess it was written by a Cameroonian, right? Okay. Prepare for Whiteness was my other 5 out of 5 star novel or short story in this collection. You see, I love how it depicted it, how it showed how tricky it is for an African citizen to travel around Africa, to travel on the African continent. It is easier for somebody to get, to come from France and be visiting, I don't know, the Rwanda or the Republic of the Congo or the Democratic Republic of the Congo and keep on going than for a Congolese citizen or a Cameroonian citizen to dare decide that they would visit, all the continent. Sometimes, even when we don't have to submit for a visa, we still have to pay fees at the borders because those people at the border set their own rules. And I thought that it was only in my country, but when I was reading this one, I realized that it's an African way of doing things, and that we became accustomed to that. We're always ready to pay people for things that are deemed to be free. Like for me, as a holder of a Congolese passport, I'm supposed to travel and make it to Kinshasa without having to pay for visa fees. But if I make it at the border, chances are I'm going to be asked for something, or they will even sometimes deny me the entry to the country just because they need their Madeswabana. That's how we call it. Like, yeah, you need to give them something for them to let you get into your own country. Even if I'm not the holder of the passport, I'm from the country too. And if you dare tell them that, war can strike between you and them. Okay, so the rules that are set by our leaders and those that they put into places, because we know that some of them are there just because they are related to somebody who knows somebody who sleep with somebody who knows the leader of the country. Yes, that's how it works in so many African countries, and that is disgusting, but that's how it is. It's the reality. And when you have so many people talking about it fluently, so freely, so greatly, you do want to read and learn and realize that when your friends are calling you in the morning to say, oh, Mary, can we go to London tomorrow? Because I packed I packed something for us. I want us to spend the weekend in London. I always remind them, hey, yo, if you want us to go to London, you let me know 2 or 3 months before, because I have to submit for a visa, which you don't have to do. If you want us to go anywhere in the world, you have to let me go. You have to let me know month before, because I have to prepare, my pile of information that I will be required, from the administration. The FBI is a lie, because when you go there, oh my God, the kind of question that you are asked, you feel like you're a terrorist trying to attack the country just because you want to spend a weekend there, just because you want to go and visit their country. They will start asking you a question, asking you the name, or even, like the birth certificate of your ancestors. Like, I've been living in Europe for, yeah, but you haven't been living in our country. I don't care what you've been doing in France, but if you want to go see the Queen, make sure your hands are clean. Make sure you do have the money. Make sure that you don't have any kind of misdemeanor to your name. So I cannot wake up in the morning and decide that, hey, tomorrow I'm going there. Oh, of course, now, I can if I want to use the French passport. But I'm saying if you're using the Congolese passport, get ready for that. Get ready. You always feel cursed. And that's why I understood vers le passeport, what's Vers le passeport, Amère les aéroports by Anne-Marie Beffoun. I understood it, but I found it nevertheless too pessimistic. Another one, The Africa We Get. I love this one, the Africa We Get, because of the parallel it made between getting to heaven, as if Europe was heaven on earth, and all the... I mean, you need to read. I'm not going to talk about all these short stories because they are short stories. If I keep talking about them, I might just end up spoiling without me even intending to do so. All in all, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend it to everybody who wants to know about the struggle, because the struggle is real when you're African, when you're the holder of an African passport and you want to travel the world. Don't you think that it is easy for everybody? Because people tend to forget that, even our own friends, because they've never been through all this. They've never been challenged whenever they wanted to travel the globe. So they think that it is the same for everybody. It is not. When you are the holder of an African passport, no matter where you've been living for 20, 30, 40 years, if you're still an African, you're still a danger or a potential immigrant into a civilized country. So you have to be very, very, very clean. You have to be very, very patient and kind of submissive, because whatever they may say, if you really want to go to visit the country, no matter what they say, you just say yes and amen. You wait for them to grant you the visa. That's all you want. Okay, sometimes it can last a month, because you have to book the rendezvous, the appointment for the interview, or the first appointment is not even the real rendezvous. It's just so that you can give them the document that they required, and then they call you another time for you to have the interview, and sometimes they call you a third time for your fingerprints and stuff like that. All in all, just for you to go there, they will grant you a 5-day visa. Who does that? European people. But when they want to make it to Africa, they go into our embassies in the morning, and in the afternoon they get their visas, and they can stay there for a month or a year It doesn't matter. Our presidents, our leaders will not cast them aside, will not throw them out of the country because, you know, they come with their civilization and they have so many opportunities to go back to their country. It's a privilege for us to have them in our country, but we are a curse in their country, even if they were first to come. Whatever. Keep in mind that this is a must read. I will put the link down below for those of you who are in Europe or even in America to purchase this. Seriously and sincerely, it is worth the read. If you don't like the first one, please don't judge it by the first story. You need to read all of them. What I did is that I read them all and came back to reading the second one because I told you that was my first 5 out of 5 stars when I was reading this one. A Family History into a Passport. That one really blew me. It blew me away. I really loved it. I've learned so many things. I didn't even know. I don't know anything about the Portuguese countries during what they went through during colonization. You need to read it. I highly recommend it to you. I read it for my non-fiction November because, as I said, all these are non-fictional. And yep, go buy it, read it, and let's discuss it. I cannot lend my copy to all my friends, and I've had many DMs of people asking me if I could lend them this one. I cannot lend it to everybody, and you do know that I'm no longer lending my books, but I'm going to put the link in the description box. Buy the copy. It's only, I think, 13 euros, and the stories are worth every cent you will spend on it. So yes, faites-vous plaisir. It is worth the read. These people are waiting for you, and their stories will embrace you. You will not embrace the story will embrace you, and yeah, you will face certain reality. Let me just give you the name of everybody who participated. So it includes pieces from Florian Gimbis, Anne-Marie Beffoun, Jovanka Pakete Perdigao, Sada Malumfashi, Nkiasha Atemkeng, Manukuyumbwa Mimi Muia, Howard MB Maximus, Kay Ugwede, and Raoul Jimeli. Make sure you buy your own copy, you read it, and so that afterwards we can discuss it. Trust me, it is worth the read, and it is full of information that you need, full of things that you probably didn't know about, apart from the Cameroonian ones who knew about Ido, because he used to be a president there. I only know Biya. I was born with Biya, and as I said before, I might die with Biya, so who knows? The everlasting Biya. And you will see what he has done for Cameroon to be such a bright country, for his citizens to be so proud of holding a green passport from that country. And I didn't talk about the Nigerian ones who write in here. Why? Because, you know, Nigerian people do not surprise me when it comes to literature. These people are talented and they know that already. And when you compliment them, they look at you and say, oh, did you expect less from me? I'm Nigerian, y'all. I'm talented. I'm gifted. It's in the water that we drink in my country. We are gifted. So don't come and tell me my story was good. They know. That's how they are. So yes, I'll let you discover his story. Read it and enjoy. That's all I can say. Voila. And I have many other videos to tape today because it's my day off. I'm going to try to make as much reviews as I can. But make sure you buy this one, you read it, and so we can talk about it. As always, no spoilers in the comment for those who will be reading. And if you want us to have a very, you know, in-depth conversation or exchange, DM me on my Instagram. The links are always in my description box, and many of you do that, and you know, I love it that way. I like it that way. I'd rather talk about the book in details with you when you're done reading the book, rather than come here and spoil it for everybody, which I don't want people to do for me when I haven't read a book yet. So voila, see you in my next video, people. Bye bye.